Hey, want to take a look at AP FRQ questions and how to answer when a question says there's going to be no policy change, right? So if we've got an economy with a recessionary gap or an expansionary gap, and they say there will be no policy change, and explain how, right? If there's no policy change, we still know that time passes. When time passes, the short run becomes the long run, and we're all dead. But before that happens, right, the aggregate supply is going to move. The short run is going to move towards the long run. The key phrase for the AP test for the how that happens is that the input costs change, right? You're going to either say the input costs fall or the input costs rise, because that's what shifts the SRAS. On this graph, we see a recessionary gap, right? I always think about the input costs in terms of wages because it's really the biggest part of our SRAS. Now you're going to word it as input costs fall or input costs rise, but think about it from here. Unemployment is high. As a result, workers are competing. When workers compete against each other for those jobs, it's going to drive wages down. Wages going down means input costs are falling and SRAS shifts to the right. And we can get to our long run equilibrium, right, at a new lower price level. On the other hand, if we've got an expansionary gap, there's very, very few people who are unemployed. And as a result, employers are competing with each other to get the best employees as our economy is booming. Right? When the employers are competing, they're hiring people away from other companies, and then they have to sort of jack up the wages to find new replacements as they hire people away from their competitors. When employers are competing for employees, wages are going to go up. People very rarely leave a job for a same job or a similar job without a pay raise. Okay? So that's going to drive wages up, which causes short-run aggregate supply to shift to the left. In this case, our unemployment is going to increase as our bubble bursts. We end up back at long-run equilibrium, as we always do in the long run, right, but at a higher price level. Right? Remember, over here, we have our input costs rising. Over here, our input